Was the move about getting away from the UK press, because the press is, you know, is everywhere, or was the move because you weren't getting enough support from the firm?
I would not have taken on the responsibility of trying to build a network. Should have handled all of that differently.
What happens when loyalty, family, and truth collide with global media scrutiny? Princess Catherine and Prince William are drawing a line in the sand, shutting down sensational headlines, protecting their children, and reclaiming their story. This isn't just royal drama, it's a battle for dignity, trust, and control in a world where every word can go viral. The world often sees the British royal family as a picture of grace, tradition, and unshakable poise. But beneath the gilded exterior, cracks have formed, some of which have left indelible marks. One such crack opened wide in March 2021 when a television interview promised to reveal truths, personal struggles, and the private reality of life inside the palace. The event was monumental, drawing millions of viewers to CBS as Prince Harry and Meghan Markle sat down with Oprah Winfrey, the queen of candid conversations. What was meant to be an intimate, revealing dialogue about their lives as modern royals transformed into a global conversation about family, media, and perception. Shadows of the past. From the very first moments of the interview, emotions ran high. Meghan spoke of isolation, battles with self-destructive thoughts, and a chilling sense of neglect from an institution meant to support her. Harry recounted the emotional toll of stepping away from royal duties, financial restrictions, and family tensions, painting a portrait of a system more concerned with appearances than the well-being of those within. Millions watched, captivated by the honesty, the raw vulnerability, and the sheer human drama unfolding on their screens. Yet, as viewers digested the revelations, questions began to emerge. Were these stories completely accurate? Were the narratives presented fully representative? Or were certain angles highlighted to evoke maximum emotional response? The implications extended far beyond the couple themselves. Princess Catherine, known for her steadfast composure and dedication to her family, suddenly found herself thrust into the crosshairs of public opinion. Social media erupted, pitting the Duchess against Meghan in debates that often descended into cruelty. Comparisons over parenting, appearance, and public demeanor gave way to outright cyberbullying, leaving Catherine's supporters and detractors locked in a heated, often toxic discourse. The initial grief over these developments soon escalated into a profound awareness of what unchecked media exposure and social platforms could amplify. Age-old issues like bullying, magnified and globalized. The interview highlighted several flashpoints that would dominate headlines for years. One of the most explosive involved Meghan's disclosure about conversations surrounding the skin color of their unborn son, Archie. Harry later clarified that the remarks were isolated and awkward, but acknowledged that the implications were serious and far-reaching. The royal family, represented publicly by Prince William during a school visit, firmly denied any racist intent.
William's hard, and he had a helping hand today on a visit to a school in Wales, none other than Ginger Spice,
asserting, "We are very much not a racist family." This public statement underscored the sense of betrayal felt by those named, who had no prior opportunity to defend themselves, while the conversation continued to simmer across social media and news outlets. Other moments in the interview, such as the infamous flower girl dress incident, were reinterpreted in ways that added layers of complexity. Initial reports had suggested Meghan caused Catherine to cry before the 2018 wedding, but in the interview, Meghan recounted that Catherine had actually upset her. An apology and flowers followed, yet insiders later revealed that emotions lingered far beyond the gesture. What the public witnessed was only the tip of a deeply personal and nuanced situation, leaving both women subjected to ongoing scrutiny and criticism in ways that were impossible to fully control. Beyond these incidents, the interview shed light on systemic pressures and constraints faced by royals. Meghan spoke about being silenced, stripped of autonomy, and denied support for her mental health struggles. Harry compared her experience to that of his mother, Princess Diana, eliciting sympathy while simultaneously igniting debate about the veracity of claims. Critics highlighted inconsistencies, citing family sources who countered narratives about estrangement or control, reminding audiences that reality within royal walls is rarely simple or uniform. The interview, intentionally or not, became a catalyst for public judgment and polarized opinion, leaving Catherine in the eye of the storm as online attacks intensified. Catherine's journey through this storm was both public and profoundly private. The relentless cyberbullying was not abstract commentary. It was personal, directed at her appearance, choices, and even health. The period leading up to and following her cancer diagnosis in 2024.
Thank you personally for all the wonderful messages of support and for your understanding whilst I've been recovering from surgery. It has been an incredibly tough couple of months for our entire family.
Saw heightened speculation and cruel rumors, testing the resilience of the future queen. Prince William's role became critical, a protective force focused on shielding his family from relentless media scrutiny while preserving the dignity and privacy of those most affected. William's protective instincts, already evident in his public statements emphasizing kindness and discretion, became a bulwark against an increasingly hostile digital world. As time passed, the consequences of the 2021 interview became clearer. The public debate over truth versus perception, reality versus narrative, and private pain versus media spectacle left deep scars. For Catherine, the intersection of personal suffering and public exposure was particularly acute. She prioritized the well-being of her children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, ensuring that schools and environments offered normalcy amidst the chaos of media attention. Social media, however, offered no reprieve. Experts in media psychology noted how high-profile accusations can legitimize harassment, and Catherine's experiences reflected this starkly, demonstrating the double-edged sword of life in the public eye. Immense privilege paired with vulnerability to global judgment. Against this backdrop, whispers began to circulate that even Oprah Winfrey, the architect of the 2021 interview, had started to reevaluate the entire conversation. Hollywood sources suggested she was reflecting on the fallout, privately acknowledging that certain narratives may have been misleading or unverified. Allegedly, in some informal contexts, she expressed regret, recognizing how the interview, while groundbreaking, had amplified claims without full verification. This emerging perspective hinted at a possible shift, a belated recognition of the emotional and reputational damage inflicted upon Catherine and the broader family. The timing of this introspection was significant. It arrived in the wake of Catherine's health struggles and ongoing efforts to maintain family stability, highlighting the profound human cost of media-fueled conflicts. The possibility of a future interview with Catherine, framed as an opportunity to tell her side of the story, loomed on the horizon. For fans, it represented a potential corrective lens, a chance to balance narratives that had often skewed toward controversy. Yet, for those closest to the royal family, the timing raised questions about intent, motives, and the potential reopening of emotional wounds carefully navigated over years of private struggle. Even in speculation, the notion of such an interview underscored the delicate interplay between media and monarchy. Catherine's silence, paired with William's protective instincts, had long signaled that the royal family would not be passive participants in the storytelling. The idea that someone like Oprah, with immense influence and reach, might extend an olive branch was fraught with tension. It was a crossroads, an opportunity to reshape the narrative or a risk to reignite old conflicts. The stakes were high, and the implications extended beyond individual reputations, touching on the very credibility of the monarchy in an era dominated by social media amplification and global scrutiny. In examining these developments, one must also consider the broader social impact. The 2021 interview did more than reveal personal grievances. It highlighted how quickly public narratives can evolve into digital harassment campaigns. Catherine's experience exemplifies a growing phenomenon where personal stories, once broadcast, can transform into instruments of public shaming and cyberbullying. The interview catalyzed debates over mental health, family loyalty, and institutional responsibility, demonstrating that words carry consequences far beyond the immediate context of broadcast. Amid all this, Prince William's protective stance emerges as a consistent theme. From the school visit where he addressed allegations of racism to private efforts shielding Catherine from relentless online abuse, his actions reflect both personal and strategic considerations. The royal household has been navigating the aftermath of unprecedented public scrutiny, balancing transparency with privacy, and ensuring the well-being of its members in a world where misinformation spreads faster than facts. The lessons learned during this period would set the stage for future decisions, particularly regarding media engagement and narrative control. Even as Catherine's strength and composure became emblematic of her role, the lingering effects of the 2021 interview were undeniable. Social media, mainstream news, and countless commentary pieces continued to circulate, often without verification or context. The human toll, emotional, reputational, and familial, was profound. Understanding this context is crucial for appreciating the royal family's current approach to media interaction, one marked by caution, discernment, and protective boundaries. It also frames the significance of any potential outreach by media figures who were previously involved, particularly in light of the evolving understanding of responsibility and accountability in public storytelling. The narrative hangs on the precipice of potential reconciliation and renewed tension. Oprah's rumored reconsideration and the possibility of offering Catherine a platform to respond represent both opportunity and risk. The choices made in this moment are not merely about individual ego or fame, they are about the balance of power between personal truth and public perception, about protecting those most vulnerable, and about how a modern monarchy navigates the intricate, often treacherous waters of global media scrutiny. The stakes are nothing less than reputation, family integrity, and emotional well-being. Lines in the sand. The tension surrounding this potential interview reached its climax when Prince William intervened decisively. Acting with the measured intensity of a protector safeguarding his family, he shut down any possibility of Catherine participating. Reports suggest his words were unequivocal. It was too late for apologies, and the time for revisiting the past had passed. The decision reflected the deep scars left by the 2021 interview, the cyberbullying Catherine endured, and the broader implications of allowing media narratives to dominate personal truth. This rejection was not merely personal, it was a strategic assertion of control over the royal story, a declaration that manipulation and sensationalism would no longer dictate public perception. The refusal resonated beyond the walls of Kensington Palace, sparking commentary, debate, and reflection. Royal observers noted the consistency in William's approach, from publicly denying allegations of racism to protecting Catherine during her health challenges. His stance embodies a broader philosophy that truth, privacy, and family integrity outweigh the allure of high-profile media exposure. It also underscores a fundamental principle of leadership within a modern monarchy. Boundaries are essential, and trust, once broken, is not easily restored. Meanwhile, Catherine continued to navigate her public role with the grace that had become her hallmark. She prioritized family stability, charitable initiatives, and her personal recovery over engaging in narratives designed for entertainment or ratings. Her silence, far from passivity, spoke volumes. It was a testament to resilience, discretion, and the understanding that not every story needs retelling. The contrast between Catherine's measured composure and the frenzy of media speculation offered a striking illustration of the human cost of high-profile storytelling gone awry. The media, particularly figures like Oprah, faced the challenge of reassessing influence and accountability. Extending an invitation for Catherine to share her perspective was both an acknowledgement of potential missteps and a recognition of the narrative imbalance created by the 2021 interview. Yet the royal rejection highlighted a crucial lesson. Reputations, trust, and emotional well-being cannot be negotiated for viewership ratings. The decision emphasized that authenticity and protection of family take precedence over sensationalized storytelling. The consequences of this decision ripple outward. For the royal family, it reinforces a new era of guarded engagement, one that prioritizes discretion and measured interaction with the media. For public figures and celebrities worldwide, it serves as a cautionary tale about the fragility of trust in the digital age. The fallout of a single interview, amplified globally, can trigger years of scrutiny, cyberbullying, and division. William and Catherine's choices underscore the importance of establishing boundaries, asserting control over narratives, and shielding loved ones from unnecessary exposure. The shield of loyalty. When the offer came, it seemed at first like an olive branch, a chance to set the record straight, a moment to reclaim a narrative long overshadowed by controversy. Oprah Winfrey, the queen of revealing interviews,
The family, who are advisors to the family, who have been there for a long time, and that's a part of the hierarchical structure, and those people have a lot of influence.
reportedly reached out to Princess Catherine, inviting her for an exclusive sit-down. The move, on the surface, suggested reconciliation, a public opportunity to address years of speculation and media-fueled narratives. Yet behind the offer lay a deeper complexity, one that demanded careful consideration. The royal family had already endured the fallout of the 2021 Oprah interview with Harry and Meghan, a broadcast that had reshaped public perception and unleashed a torrent of criticism and cyberbullying against Catherine. It was a reminder that even well-intentioned overtures could carry unintended consequences. Prince William's response was swift and decisive. Sources close to Kensington Palace revealed that he personally shut down the possibility of Catherine participating. The message was firm. It was too late for apologies, too late to revisit old wounds, and the time for reconciliation through media spectacle had passed. Catherine, he made clear, would not engage in any further interviews about past controversies. This stance was not just about a single media invitation. It was a protective barrier, a reaffirmation of the family's boundaries, and a statement of principle. Years of relentless scrutiny had left marks, and the Wales family was determined to shield itself from further unnecessary exposure. Catherine's own role in this decision spoke volumes. She remained deliberately silent, a choice that reflected both resilience and strategy. Instead of responding publicly, she focused on her children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, ensuring that their daily lives remained as normal as possible despite the shadows of media attention. At the same time, she maintained her commitment to charitable work, continuing initiatives in early childhood education and mental health advocacy.
Kate Middleton gives a heartfelt speech about the mental health of children, insisting, "This is something I really do care about."
Her calm, measured response formed a counter-narrative to the sensationalized coverage that had dominated headlines for years. This quiet strength reinforced an essential truth. Influence and leadership do not require constant public declarations, and discretion can be a more powerful statement than confrontation. The refusal of the interview also underscored the delicate balance between media power and personal boundaries. Oprah, as a media icon, wields enormous influence, and her 2021 interview with Harry and Meghan had already generated global attention and debate.
As you know, Oprah sat down with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle in a very revealing interview.
Reports suggested that she had reflected on the emotional and reputational impact of that broadcast, and perhaps recognized that some claims may have been exaggerated or misrepresented. Extending an invitation to Catherine could have been an attempt to correct the narrative or present a more balanced perspective. However, William's decisive rejection made it clear that the family's priorities had evolved. Trust, once broken, could not be restored with a late gesture, no matter how well-intentioned or high-profile. This decision had immediate and far-reaching implications. Publicly, it signaled that the monarchy was reclaiming authority over its own story. For Catherine, it validated her long-standing approach, prioritizing family and personal integrity over media spectacle. For other public figures, it sent a clear message that reputations, trust, and emotional well-being are not negotiable commodities. Attempts to leverage emotion, controversy, or past conflicts for public ratings would encounter firm resistance. In essence, the refusal represented a new standard in the monarchy's engagement with media, a strategic, assertive, and protective approach to storytelling. William's protective instincts, long visible in public statements and family advocacy, extended naturally to this situation. The 2021 interview had not only impacted Catherine's reputation, but had amplified cyberbullying, social media attacks, and public misrepresentation. These experiences demonstrated the dangers of unchecked media narratives and highlighted the gap between public perception and private reality. By rejecting the interview, William was not merely reacting defensively, he was proactively safeguarding the family's well-being and asserting control over a story that had spun beyond their influence. The decision also reflected a broader understanding of the human cost of public exposure. Catherine had endured relentless scrutiny, with commentary frequently turning personal, targeting her appearance, parenting style, health, and even private choices. The cyberbullying she faced mirrored a global trend. Social media can weaponize personal stories, turning subjective opinions into harassment campaigns. For the royal family, this underscored the importance of clear boundaries, deliberate discretion, and a refusal to be manipulated by sensationalist narratives. The refusal of Oprah's offer was therefore both personal and principled, an act of protection in a world where public exposure can have lasting emotional consequences. Moreover, the episode highlighted the interplay between traditional institutions and modern media. Oprah represents influence and accountability, and her interview with Harry and Meghan had forever altered public engagement with the monarchy. Yet, even figures of immense cultural authority cannot bypass the consequences of misrepresentation. By refusing the invitation, William and Catherine demonstrated that the monarchy would not participate in reactive storytelling or allow its members to become tools for narrative correction after reputational damage had already occurred. It was a firm statement. The family would engage on its own terms, not on the terms of others seeking headlines. The broader impact of this decision extends beyond the palace. It is a lesson in media ethics, narrative control, and online responsibility. Catherine's experience illustrates how quickly a personal story can escalate into global scrutiny, fueled by speculation, rumor, and viral commentary. The royal family's approach, setting boundaries, emphasizing discretion, and prioritizing family well-being, provides a case study in navigating high-profile exposure without compromising dignity or integrity. It also offers insight for public figures worldwide, showing that strategic silence and protective measures can be as powerful as any public statement or interview. For Harry and Meghan, William and Catherine's decision further clarified the lines of engagement. While reconciliation within the family remains possible, this refusal underlined that boundaries and accountability take precedence over optics and public storytelling. The royal family's stance communicates that personal integrity and family loyalty outweigh the temptation to participate in media-driven drama, no matter the allure of exposure or narrative control. Ultimately, this episode illustrates the evolving dynamics of monarchy in the digital age. Transparency, while valued, is now balanced against privacy, trust, and emotional safety. The refusal of the interview reinforced a philosophy. Public engagement must not come at the cost of personal and familial well-being. William and Catherine's combined approach, his protective decisiveness and her quiet resilience, sets a precedent for how high-profile individuals manage both legacy and public perception in an era dominated by instant commentary and viral scrutiny. Catherine's continued focus on her family and charitable endeavors exemplifies the enduring lesson of this saga. Strength and influence can manifest through action, consistency, and discretion, not constant public engagement. Meanwhile, William's defense of his family and refusal to revisit past controversies demonstrates leadership that prioritizes trust, loyalty, and dignity over spectacle. Together, their response signals a new chapter for the monarchy, one that values measured interaction with media, clear personal boundaries, and the protection of truth and family above all. As this chapter concludes, the message is clear. Trust, once fractured, cannot be restored with gestures alone, and safeguarding loved ones sometimes demands firm, uncompromising action. The Wales family has drawn a line, asserting authority over their narrative and establishing a model for resilience, loyalty, and discretion. Their choices highlight the challenges of public life in the modern era, where every word, action, and omission is scrutinized, but also demonstrate that integrity and principled boundaries remain powerful tools against the tide of speculation and sensationalism. In a world where headlines can overshadow reality, the royal family's refusal to participate in another potentially damaging interview serves as both a shield and a statement. Catherine's silence, William's protection, and the family's assertive stance remind us that true influence and leadership come not from public rebuttals, but from measured, principled action. The saga continues, and one thing is certain: the Wales family will navigate the media landscape on their own terms, prioritizing truth, loyalty, and the enduring strength of family above all else. And there you have it, the untold layers of a royal saga that goes far beyond headlines and viral moments. William and Catherine's unwavering stance reminds us that loyalty, truth, and family always come first, even when the world is watching. In a story shaped by public scrutiny, cyberbullying, and media drama, they've drawn a line, reclaiming control over their narrative and showing the strength it takes to protect what truly matters. The royal family's journey continues, and one thing is certain: their story is far from over, and every choice they make will echo for years to come.